One guy, I do like the talent, but he's always injured, and that's Sammy Watkins. You have him at wide receiver 22 and 51 overall, so you like this guy a lot. The experts are a little bit lower as a whole, and I'm way lower on Watkins. I think I have him, wide receiver 39, 94, it looks like. So I'm not a fan, especially in fantasy-wise, and a guy that, if I was going to flip him, would be Christian Kirk, who I have right around my 50, 60 range, but you have down in your 90s or so. So you're much higher on Watkins and much lower on Kirk, and I'm kind of flipped on both those guys. So what's kind of your case for Watkins, and or what's your case against Kirk, I would say?
Yeah, I might have Watkins a little too high, but it's just so when he played on over 20% of Kansas City's snaps last year, averaged 13.6 fantasy points per game. That would have ranked 25th best. His current ADP is wide receiver 36. He has a bad injury history, but he's also the wide receiver 2 on probably the most explosive and exciting passing offense in maybe NFL history. Yeah. And it's just like as simple as that for me. Christian Kirk, I was just never a Christian Kirk guy. Not coming out, I thought he was slot only, and because Larry Fitzgerald's the slot, that's not really a good spot for him. Luckily, Cliff Kingsbury in his offense, he has guys constantly moving in and out of the slot. That's good for him. But at the same time, I know how much he loved Andy Isabella, who's a guy, PFF was super high on. They brought in a bunch of rookies for competition. Keyshawn Johnson has been, drawing rave reviews in camp. Larry Fitzgerald is old, but he's also immortal. So we'll see. We'll see how many targets he gets. I think it's just like a very spread the ball around offense. It's going to be a productive offense, but I'm not sure, any of those guys are going to have Watkins upside, let's say.
Yeah, my hope with that air raid is, I agree with you, there's so many weapons there. My hope is the volume, the pace of play, the amount of plays a game they have, and the fact that their defense is probably going to be horrendous and they're going to need to keep chucking it. So even if there's a lot of mouths to feed, I'm hoping there's enough pie there to feed at least 2 to 3 of these guys. And I'm hoping, my guess is Kirk's the top one, just because you mentioned the versatility to play inside, outside, a lot of 4 receiver sets. He'll be able to move all over. They said he looks kind of the most comfortable after playing in a similar style scheme in college. So my hope is he is that number one. That's kind of why I rank him high. I have Larry Fitz pretty high too. I see this being kind of like that Rams turnaround where they were the worst team in the league in scoring, and then they went all the way to first, and it was that Sean McVay effect. I could see Kingsbury having a similar effect where they go from 14 points a game to right around 30, which is, that's a bold prediction. It's big, but I wouldn't be shocked because of how new this offense is going to be, how fast they're going to play. I thought in preseason action, Murray just looked like he belonged. I wanted to see him just have that poise and calm, and just as he always has, he did. And I love Murray, so I think when they turn the heat up and put the pedal to the metal here, that offense is just going to fly down the field. I think Kirk will be a big part of it. Watkins, he is that number 2 wide receiver, but does that mean necessarily the number 2 target share? Probably not. I mean, obviously, and I know you love Travis Kelce. You've been banging that drum like has to be a first rounder. He's going to have the most targets, followed by Tyreek Hill, and then the running backs under Andy Reid have always been such a high volume. So with Watkins, you're going to get those blow-up games. He had some of them last year, but then you're going to get some of those just, I got nothing. I got 1.5 out of him this week. And when you mix in the injury history, I'd rather have that shot at the number 1 guy in an offense I see ascending versus maybe the 4th on the totem pole of an injury-prone guy. I don't know. What do you think?
Yeah, it's just, listen, I love the Arizona offense. I'm super high on Kyler Murray. I'm super high on David Johnson. I probably higher than most on Larry Fitzgerald. I just don't trust that Kirk is that number 2 guy. I think they just spread the ball around a lot through the air. Yeah. And I'm not sure he outscores, like, let's say Isabella this year, but well, that's a super hot take. He probably does, but still, it's just like I don't know where the value in that is, and I don't see there's going to be a lot of consistency. But